Amigos, amigos! Hi my friends, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're going to talk about is some of the safety precautions that you should take when you go to Brazil, because in the news there's a lot of, bad news from Brazil, drug dealers fighting and decapitated soccer players and stuff like that. And what I want you to know is Brazil can be a safe place, but it's not always safe. So we're going to give you our safety tips for visiting Brazil, whether you're going to the World Cup or the Olympics or just going for a fun time at Carnival. It's a great place to go, but you need to be smart. And the first thing goes with your dress. Now I've got my nice collared shirt, a nice pair of jeans, stuff like that. Guys, let me tell you, when you're packing to go to Brazil, you don't wear nice clothes like this. The collared shirts and stuff like that, no, you're not wearing those. Okay, take that off. What you want to have is a crappy t-shirt. Like, look, I have a crappy Wolters World t-shirt here. Okay, that'll work just fine. And your jeans, stuff like this, no. No jeans. What you're wearing are some Bermuda shorts or just kind of, cheesy shorts and stuff like that. So, get rid of the collared shirts and the nice clothes like you wear in Europe. I don't know, you're kind of, dressing a little bit lower, a little bit more comfy, a little bit ready for the beach kind of stuff, because you want to look like you don't have a lot of money. Now, some other things you look at is, guys, if you're wearing jewelry. Now, I'm married, so I have my wedding ring. You know what? Maybe I don't take that with me to Brazil. My wife will know that I'm married, and that's good enough for me. But women, definitely, do not take your big old diamond engagement rings and stuff like that. Do not take anything bling. All the flash is gone. When I moved to Brazil, I got off the plane, and my host family said, Mark, give me your watch, give me your wallet, and give me your phone. I said, okay, well that's weird. So I gave them my watch. I had, I had a nice watch. They took that, my nice watch and gave me a crappy Casio digital watch. I say, okay. I gave them my phone. I had a nice Nokia at the time, and they gave me a Vivo, a pay-as-you-go phone, like it looked like it was 20 years old. So I had that, and they took my wallet and they took out 20 reais. I said, Mark, put 120 real in this pocket and 120 real in this pocket. That's the money in Brazil. So if someone robs you, you can give that to them and they'll be fine and they'll leave you alone. Okay, so that's the first thing, is how you dress. Yes, you dress like crap when you're there, but that's fine. Now, what are some safety issues you're gonna have in Brazil? Now, I know a lot of people wanna go visit the favelas or the shanty towns. They think, oh, that's gonna be cool. I'm gonna go there. Guys, you do not wander into the shanty towns, the favelas. That is a very bad idea. Now, if you wanna visit the favelas, there are a lot of tour groups that will actually give you a tour of the favelas. Do your research on which ones are good, because honestly, I do not recommend going into them, but if you want to, get a guide to take you in, because otherwise, bad stuff can happen, okay? Now, some other things you want to look at, if you're going to take taxis. Now, the taxi drivers, they get ripped off too. And you notice the taxi drivers don't wear their watch on this side, they wear it on their right hand, because what they'll do is they're sitting there in traffic, whatever, people will come by, and take the watches right off their wrists, okay? So the taxi drivers got to worry too. But you, when you take taxis, you need to be very careful in Brazil. I know I get a lot of people who are like, Mark, you took lots of taxis there. Yes, I did, but make sure you call and reserve a taxi to take you places, or have your hotel get the taxi for you, because that is another thing. You get driven off to the wrong part of town, getting taken to your ATM machines to get cash out, so bad stuff can happen. So you need to pay attention when you're taking taxis. If you're walking around like a dumb tourist, looking like this, people will rob you. Okay, you gotta be smart. The Swiss guy I knew got robbed at least twice a week. The Russian guy would get robbed all the time, but they'd still dress like they were still in Switzerland, or they're still going to a club in Russia. Guys, you gotta dress the part when you're here in Brazil, because it does make a difference. Okay, I lived there for over half a year. I loved it. I never got robbed, but I wore stuff like this all the time. Yes, I was a little bit thinner at that time, and I had long blonde hair, so I didn't look like I really fit in, you would think. But if you dress the part, you really will fit in here. A good pair of Havaianas or flip-flops will really kind of make it a perfect combination. Or if you have an alternative production Brazil jersey, you can go with that too. When you do see people that do look a little bit, you're a little worried about, guys, if people come to rob you, and it might happen, they might have a gun or a knife, you don't talk to them. You take the money out of your pocket, you just give it to them right away. You don't look at them, you give them no reason, because guys, they will hurt you, and yes, they could kill you. Okay, so it's not like, oh man, that's my phone. No, you just give it to them. Okay, give it to them, just walk away. They want your watch, give it to them.
So you're leaving the taxi and you're heading to the beach. And one of the things is when you're going to the beach, you need to realize that you do not take anything with you. Now, when I say anything, I don't mean nothing. What you're doing is you're taking your towel and your swim trunks and maybe a few reais in order to buy like a coconut or a beer or something on the beach. But you do not take anything of value to the beach because that's your best place to get things stolen. So just know, if you want to take your beach pictures, take your beach pictures when you walk by all fully dressed. When you come back to sit on the beach, bring nothing but your beach attire.
Now in Brazil, when you go to an ATM, if you see an ATM outside of a bank, you should never use it. Always go inside the bank. And you may think, well, that seems a little bit much. Guys, believe me. The people are watching those ATMs, who they can rob, who they can get. Your best bet is to go inside and use the ATM inside of the banks in Brazil. I never had any problems in Brazil, but I knew a lot of people that did, and you gotta be smart, okay? So be careful. ATMs, use it inside the bank to get your money. When you get back to your hotel, divide the money up. Use the locker or the safe in the hotel, and only take the money you're gonna spend that day. Okay, now I'm not gonna say you're gonna get robbed, but I'm just saying I've seen people more times than anywhere else. When I've been in Sao Paulo, like going to downtown Sao Paulo, I just watch. I was walking with my parents and my Brazilian friends, and people were coming between my parents and I and trying to pickpocket my parents right in front of me. Okay, so you got to be really careful about these things. Now, if you're going to come for Carnival or the Olympics or the World Cup or anything like that, whenever you go to any of these big events, honestly, if you can get a disposable camera, get those, because they can still, when you develop them, they can make a digital copy for you. Because I can't tell you how many people have written me on Facebook and have talked to me in person about, I was at Carnival, I had my camera, I was doing the dance, the samba, and I was having all this great fun, and somebody robbed me right there in front of everybody. I'm like, yeah, it does happen. And you know, they lose not just that day's picture, but a whole week in Brazil, and you don't want to do that. So be smart when you go to Carnival and when you party here, because guys, if your drink leaves your hands and you don't see it, don't finish it. Okay, because a lot of people do slip stuff in their drinks here. You know, I highly suggest you go out with locals that you know, if you have friends there, or go out in groups when you go out, because guys, having your drink by itself is one of the biggest issues where people get, you know, their drink spiked.
Now, when you're in Brazil, you're going to be using public transports to get around. It's not just taxis. So you'll be using the metros, you know, like in Recife or Sao Paulo or Rio, or you'll be taking public buses or minibuses and things like that. And you really need to pay attention on these.
Because I have seen people getting robbed on the metros and in the buses, especially if you take those little private minivans that go around some places like in Rio or Sao Paulo. Just like anywhere, it doesn't matter if you're in New York or Georgia or Russia or wherever, you got to keep your eyes open and your mind open so you can see the things and see what's going on. Now, I hope this helps you have a better time in Brazil. It's a fantastic place. Honestly, it's my favorite country to visit in the world. I love it. The food, the people, everything. So if you want to learn more about traveling in Latin America, we've got videos for that. Otherwise, if you want to learn a little Portuguese before you come to Brazil, check us out at our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, and we appreciate all your likes, subscriptions, and t-shirt purchases. Bye, and boa viagem. Have a good trip. Bye.